Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie from EALA, the Educating All Learners Alliance. And thank you so much for joining us today. If you're watching live, you can go ahead and pop any questions that you have into the chat. We do have staff monitoring, so feel free to go ahead and put any questions you might have in our chat as you are watching. Before we dive into today's Tech Tool of the Month, I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the Educating All Learners Alliance, in case you are coming over from the GoManda community and you don't know much about us. So the Educating All Learners Alliance is a coalition of over 140 nonprofit organizations committed to resource sharing and community building, supporting students with disabilities, teachers who support students with disabilities, district leaders, parents, caregivers. And one of the ways that we are committed to resource sharing is through our accessible tech tool library. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have a resource library, which has several open access resources, our accessible tech tool library, which houses GoManda. We do several different webinars such as this, podcasts, and case studies. And we also have many different initiatives that bring folks in our partnership and educators around the country together. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. As I mentioned, my name is Jackie Keenan. I am the content lead for the Educating All Learners Alliance. So part of my job is finding accessible tech tools to feature in our tech tool library. With me today is Celest Austin, CEO and founder of GoManda. Thank you again, Celeste.
Thank you for having me, Jackie.
And if you can go to the next slide, I'll just give a little bit of background on our tech tool library. So if you go over to our website, you'll see that we have a few different tabs at the top. If you go to resources, under that is our tech tool library tab. And you can see in this GIF, we feature BrainPop, but there are several different, over 140 different tools to choose from. And they could be, some of them are geared towards students, some are geared towards teachers, district decision makers, caregivers. So there is a very broad range of audience who our tools can reach. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Celest Austin, who is going to give us a little bit more background on GoManda and give us a little demonstration on the tool as well.
Thank you so much, Jackie. It's such an honor to be here and talking with all of you. I'm really excited to share GoManda with all of you guys and kind of share my story of what got me to this point. Just a little bit about me. I really started this company because of my autistic sister, Amanda. We grew up in a time when autism was really an enigma. There weren't many resources out there tailored for her learning style, which was really frustrating. And so I set on this mission to bring better resources to parents and to educators. I got my medical degree, my PhD, really studying everything I could about autism, and really just landed in this space where I knew that the biggest impact we can make was in the classroom and at home. And so I started GoManda as a result. And so we leverage the science of learning for autism to teach the basics like early nouns, early numeracy, shapes, colors, things like that. One of our accessibility models is because we're servicing and helping autistic individuals. 95% of autistic individuals have sensory differences. So our lessons are sensory friendly. That means less visual distractions that you may see in conventional resources out there that are on apps. We have minimalistic lessons, meaning that they're very minimalistic in design, white background, no distracting cartoons, animations, things that take away from learning for an autistic mind, and customizable auditory settings. So depending on where your sensory differences lie, you can actually also customize the auditory settings if they may be too distracting from learning. We also, as I said, leverage the science of learning for autism. So we've really meticulously designed this app for the autistic learning style. So for example, we designed lessons and our quizzes based on that detail-oriented thinking that's very common in the autism community. And we have interest-based lessons, really to increase that intrinsic motivation to learn, and to keep our kids learning and engaging. So I really like to start out with kind of the science, the very basic science of what GoManda does. You may be looking at this picture right here of a cup, and I usually ask, what makes this a cup? What exactly does a cup mean? And if you're first seeing this object, if you're neurotypical, you might say that a cup is the shape of this item. And that's most neurotypical minds work this way. If you're autistic, there might be a little bit more that goes into what a cup is: the color, the texture, the material, and then, of course, the shape as well. But as you can imagine, when it's your first time learning this object, right, if you are looking at all these other attributes of this cup, for example, it can kind of be confusing if someone presented you with this object. You might say, if you have an autistic mind or a detail-oriented mind, say that this is not, the blue item here is not a cup because it is not pink, it's not ceramic, it doesn't have a place for your placeover holder for your hand. You may not think that this blue item is a cup because your mind is that detail-oriented. Now, neurotypical mind, because of the shape, may be able to appropriately match. Now, this is actually an incredible way of seeing the world in such detail, the autistic way of thinking. But you can see how it's challenging in the very beginning when you're kind of sorting out what is a cup, for example. And there is absolutely a lot of evidence to show that as long as you show all the different examples of cups, for example, you can actually hone in on that comprehension of this definition of cup. And this applies upon all other objects, all other concepts, abstract concepts, colors, shapes, early numeracy, and things like that. So there's a lot of evidence to show as long as we teach the right way, autistic kids can increase their vocabulary comprehension, an area that they need a lot of support in. But once that's honed in, we can see a lot of success. So that's basically what GoManda does. So let me just show you exactly what we've done. I'm going to go ahead and show our app. And I'm going to show you kind of what the student's experience is like. So we sometimes call ourselves the Netflix for vocabulary because we have a bunch of different categories of objects, colors, shapes, things like that. Very common items that a child would experience or see in their environment. And so, for example, if I was to work with clothing, you're going to see a lot of the high yield items that a child would experience or see or even wear in this realm. And so if I worked with socks, you're going to hear an auditory label. And socks. I'm going to go ahead and raise the volume a little bit here, and then I'll lower it so that I can talk. But as you can see, one of the things that we talked about is a minimalistic design. Socks. There's no distracting elements. Socks. We're all here to just increase engagement. When I tap on the item or the child taps on the item, you'll see all the different types of socks. And I'm going to go ahead and lower that volume. You see, we try to capture all the different colors, different textures, maybe different graphics that make a sock a sock. And after seeing kind of the 5 variations of a sock, the child is quizzed on this. And this is a very scientifically backed quiz. As you can see, everything here is a similar color. And it's really to hone in on that comprehension that the color is not a definition of cup, for example. And if they get it right, they get something fun. Same here. Everything is the same color. And we also can nudge them in the right way if they happen to tap on the incorrect item. But if they get it right, they get something fun. So the magic sauce of all of this is that we can capture all that data on the app side. So that's us leveraging technology not only to make our lessons more powerful, but to also empower the educator and the family with data. So if we look here, we can see everything was recorded for that student. So we can even get a year's worth of data in one screen. And that can all be exported out to anyone in the student's or child's care team. So how well they did on their lessons, when did they work on it, and areas of improvement that can be worked on. And we track mastery. So things that they've improved or mastered over time, all can be exported out. And as I mentioned before, we also have customizable accessibility settings that are found here in our settings. And you can also customize the student's experience from here as well. So you can actually customize their volume. You can customize also the interests that they would like to work on. And that's a summary of our app. And I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. But this is kind of the heart of what we're doing. Absolutely been growing and really enjoying kind of learning and getting the feedback from the community. So, of course, we are always an open line. If you want to try this app and let us know what you think, we would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Celeste. That was great. And can you also, I noticed that there were some stars under some of the pictures and objects, or words rather. Can you tell me a little bit more about what those stars indicate?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we track mastery. So those are your road towards mastery. Once you've mastered those words, they kind of glow gold in that library that you saw. So yes, thanks for asking that. I should have probably pointed that out.
Awesome. No problem. I mean, you see it all the time. So it's something, it's second nature. Thank you so much for that demonstration.
Of course. Thank you. I would love to absolutely hear from the community, of course. We consider everybody who tries GoManda a partner, and we love hearing the feedback from our community. So there's different ways to keep in touch with us. We have an Instagram at GoManda_app. We also have a YouTube channel. You can check out our YouTube channel by looking up GoManda. And we also have a Facebook at GoManda Online. So check us out and please keep in touch. We would love to hear from you.
Awesome. And we'll also be putting all of those links in the chat as well for folks to click into and in the description of this video. And to learn more about accessibility, you can go to educatingalllearners.org/ed-tech/. And then to sign up for the Educating All Learners Accessibility Basics for EdTech solution providers, you can go to educatingallaccessibility.org. And to stay in touch with EALA, you can go ahead, if you haven't already, and subscribe to our newsletter at educatingalllearners.org. Keep up with us on socials, on Twitter, or now as it's known, X at educate_org. And then if you have any resources, any free and open access resources that you'd like to share with us, you can send me an email at resources@educatingalllearners.org. Or if you have an accessible tech tool that you'd like to send my way, you can feel free to reach out to me there. And if you are, a nonprofit organization looking to join the Alliance, feel free to email Aurora at innovate.edu.nyc.org. That's it for us today. Thank you all so much for joining in. And thank you again so much to Celeste for doing this demonstration and talking a little bit more about GoManda and the different ways that, children, parents, teachers can utilize, and caregivers can utilize the tool.
Thank you so much. It was awesome to be here.